Yes, guys, it's Danny Glover from Fight Fan TV Live, proudly sponsored by Treasure Boxing Club, and we're here with Showtime, Sonny Edwards. How are you feeling tonight?
Nah, I'm feeling good. Yeah, we just got to the end of the weigh-in. Quite a nice little atmosphere. I think a lot of people are excited for the weekend of fights. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So what did you think about the weigh-in? I saw like that crowd looked like Vegas style, Lewis Crocker, Paddy Donovan, Roche's crowd. What's your predictions and sort of keys to victory for each competitor on the main event?
To me, there was more people here than there was for both the Conor Benn and Chris Eubank press conferences. And I don't know what the deal was, or how easy it was to get there. And I know they only announced the Tuesday one really last minute, but yeah, it's good to see that so many people are coming out for a local rivalry and a proper fight, a genuine fight. They've both been built up. They've both looked great at times in their career, and we'll see who the man of Belfast is.
So no prediction for so far?
It's hard really, because there's probably a time that I would have heavy favoured Crocker, and then maybe the last 12 months it might have started slipping towards Donovan, but I do think it's a genuinely close fight. I think if it turns into a real firefight early, I think it favours Crocker. If it turns into maybe a bit more of a boxing match and a bit more range getting kept, then it favours Paddy Donovan. And I think it's really in this fight who instills their discipline and their tactics to the fight quickest and settles there and gets composed. I think, I don't think there's an awful lot too much to split these two, and that's what always makes the best fights.
I hear that. So with the co-main event, we've got Craig Richards versus Padraig McCrory, aka Poddy. So yeah, how do you see that one going, and what do you think of that matchup?
Do you know what I think? Technically, I think Craig's definitely a better fighter. I think we've seen some real good performances from him, but I think we've also seen some not as sharp and as firing performances. I think Paddy McCrory, where he may not have won at as good of a level as Craig Richards has, he's heavier handed and he's maybe more of like a scrapper. So again, similar to Crocker, Paddy Donovan, I think it's the styles is going to make that. Now, if Craig keeps the distance and keeps his feet underneath him and touches the first shot, makes Padraig make the mistake and then lands, I think he'll find a nice rhythm. I think if he gets caught up and lets Padraig start teeing off and letting hands off, though, it might be a hard night, because I think, okay, he might not be the best talented boxer, Padraig, but I think his punch power, for people that have been in the ring of him, and it's been talked about for quite a long time. And I think that's really his danger in this fight. I think it's a great fight. I think even down to Stephen Ward and Tommy McCarthy, it's like you've got three fights there which kind of make sense geographically and make sense in the landscape of their boxing careers, their records, where they're at in their career, like what they fought before. And I think they're the fights needs. Not every fight always needs to have the pound for pound number one or the biggest name to be a good fight. And I think cards like this, when we're really starting to see that, and fighters getting the opportunities that, maybe when boxing was a bit different, maybe 8 years ago, certain fighters might lose at a certain stage and then we never really hear or see of them again. But now, as long as you keep taking the fights and plugging away and give your best, even if you lose, you're getting opportunities. And these are the cards we want to see, where, okay, it might not be the superstar versus someone we've never heard of, superstar versus someone we've heard of, to bring this sort of attention to the card. It's more, that's a good fight. And there is, again, another card where there's probably 3 or 4, maybe even 5 down to the before the bell with the women's fight that's on there. Like some genuine good fights on the card, and I'm looking forward to it.
Talking about landscape, we saw Artur Beterbiev versus Dimitri Bivol 2. Bivol won the undisputed off of Artur Beterbiev. We saw Callum Smith versus Joshua Buatsi, another light heavyweight fight. We've got Anthony Yarde versus your friend Lyndon Arthur. So how do you see the light heavyweight landscape, and what are you making of these fights?
I thought Callum Smith and Buatsi fight, I thought that was a terrific fight. I thought Buatsi started quite well, physically looked very strong, and I think Callum kind of outsmarted him and was cuter with his punch picking and his combinations, and he was just a bit more eye-catching throughout the periods of the fight, and I thought he was a deserved winner. I thought it was close. ish enough. I thought Boatsy had a great performance, but I think at that level it is sometimes like that. And you know, both guys I go way back with. I remember seeing Joshua Boatsy get into like London finals and that for South Northern Victory. I remember, and I can remember Callum Smith being in the same team as my brother, and both of them was probably the only two fighters, I think, maybe one more, that didn't qualify for that Olympics. And he was, I believe, Rotunda. I don't want to get wrong. Yeah, because I don't think they was. Yeah, I'm sure it was Rotunda, but I'm not. I can't fully remember that. So like, because obviously I was from London, innit? So the Liverpool, the gyms, apart from the ones that I fought against, they kind of all blurred into one. Like, because there's the Solly as well, but I don't think they was there. I think they was Rotunda. I think that's where the black and gold. But yeah, just seeing the lads from years go up and come to the point where it was a bit sad, to be honest, that they fought at 5:30. Like, it kind of spun my head. It's like, wow, this fight I'm so excited for, and it's at 5:30. I'm sat here telling my kids like to be quiet while I'm watching the fight. Normally they're in bed for these fights, you know what I mean? And yeah, I just thought Callum was just a bit cuter, just a bit smarter, and I think Boatsy's always been very, very, very physically impressive and very, very game and very determined. But I think what happened, I think Callum just let him kind of beat himself. Boatsy was always trying to put the pressure on, and both guys I really like and genuinely respect as well. And I think, you know, Callum was the winner, and Boatsy will come back. Obviously you've got Lyndon and Yarde, the trilogy, which I'm really looking forward to. I'll be down there as well, working Lyndon's corner for that fight. And yeah, we've got a great belief in Lyndon for that fight. And obviously Yarde's looked impressive at times, maybe not so impressive at times, and you kind of know what you get with him. If he bursts you out when he does go, then it's dangerous. But if you're still there after he's gone, then there's not really much left of him, and that's been the pattern in all of his proper fights. And I think if Lyndon didn't get, you know, stopped when he stood up in the first one, and say had another 3-6 minutes and was still there, I think Yarde would have been gassed, to be honest. I think there was clear signs that he was slowing down, but he was just committing to it because he felt he was getting to Lyndon, and to a certain degree he was. But I think the light heavyweight division, there's even some more fighters that are popping up and making their claim. Even like now David Benavidez is in the division. It makes a very interesting, because for me, as much as the Britain would love to see Callum Smith, Boatsy's, Yarde's, Lyndon's going to the middle really outside of them fighting each other, I think Benavidez is probably the best fight that I'd like to see. Or maybe before Callum Smith, but even though I don't think that has maybe the same worldwide appeal that Benavidez might have just now. I think it's a great division, light heavyweights right now, genuinely. Perfectly honest, and I'm not trying to put anyone down, and maybe in markets getting less true, but I think right now and for the last maybe 2-3 years, that division's been completely dominated by both Bivol and Bertobiev, and really they probably can only really fight each other. Like, otherwise they probably both win. Maybe, but as the months are going on, it will start changing. At one point, Bertobiev will lose, anyone else at their prime right now, I don't think they touch them to be honest.
Being a skills man, how did you assess the Better Be versus Bivol 2 fight? And do you believe the right man won?
Yeah, I thought Bivol just edged it the first time, to be honest. But I could see why Bertobiev got it, because of like the more powerful punches and the more like body language. But I thought he got outworked in more of the rounds than he didn't. I thought in the second one after 4, I had it level, but I also I was really confident in Bertobiev's work, and I thought he started really well and started touching the target. It looked like Bivol was missing a bit and even slowing a bit very early on again, but then he just kept it going the whole way through. And in the first couple of rounds, maybe the third and fourth round, he was snatching a lot of his shots. He was missing quite a bit. Bivol, I thought he was letting quite a few go, but he was missing too much, and I was worried that his engine might get him in trouble for that fight, because he did look like he slowed down a couple of times in the first one. It looked like a couple of times he was flat, and then he came back, but I thought once he got rounds maybe like 5, maybe not 5, I can't remember, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pretty much back to back, and that's how I saw it. The first 2 rounds at 2-all, sorry, after 4. Yeah, I wasn't surprised at all that Bivol won.
Obviously we saw this week Eggate going on with Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr., Nigel Benn grabbing Chris by the throat, Eddie pushing Ben Shalom. What did you think of all that ruckus and fracas and on-site manoeuvres?
Do you know, I feel like it's hard when you put people in a room that have a great deal of confidence, maybe borderline, if not past that, arrogance, a lot of belief in their physical prowess, a lot of belief in their pride, a great sense of, hold on, you're not going to say that to me, or you're not going to do that to me, and here's now me doing the something back because of you done that. You're getting tit for tat all week long, and I thought Chris was great at sort of orchestrating the drama. I thought Eddie and Chris going back and forth was, priceless. I thought it was really, really funny at times, like I was catching jokes. I thought Conor Benn maybe a bit quiet, but then just snapping out of a bit of aggression, but kind of expected from the way he is. I thought Nigel Benn being on the table was a good addition. Even if obviously then we're talking about the whole Chris Eubank hand on neck, you won't get your hand back if you touch me again, but it just adds to it. Let's be real, man. Like, if you all put yourself in their shoes, there's probably nothing that you're not going to be willing to say to make someone feel less of themselves when in 2 months you're going to have the biggest night of your life fighting this person in front of everyone that you ever known and probably ever will know. So I get it, things get said, and you get them a little bit, they want to get you a little bit more, and it's not like both fighters weren't getting each other, and I think I think it was everything it needed to be. I think the Thursday was a bit more boring than I anticipated, but
I think you got to think that the best juices was already done on. You can't top Tuesday. What really can they do more? Do you know what I mean?
Nah, but if Conor took Ben Shalom down to the ground, that would have topped it.
Well, he nearly did on the pitch.
No, but he didn't. He played at doing it. Yeah. But I'm saying, you see, if he took him down to the ground, that would have topped it.
So let's talk about yourself. You're retired. You seem happily retired. Seem good spirits. How's things been for you, and what you been up to lately?
Just trying to get through the days, to be honest. I'd started what I'm doing now before my career was over for a couple of years, commentating, managing, helping corners, and sort of doing all the outside of the stuff with the sport. And it was coming to a point where I knew that it was coming maybe sooner rather than later, and then when it did come, I decided, and I didn't look back. Within a week or two, I was already working commentary on cards, and I was travelling around the world to Monaco, to Dubai, to Saudi, on boxing trips, and then the new year started, and I've hit every single show. I've worked every single Matchroom show so far this year, and the last Matchroom show that I didn't work, I fought on. Every other one I've had a mic in my hand, and I've been doing something. So yeah, it's been really refreshing, to be honest. I think with my ADHD, I had the same pattern of my life for about 10 years, like really, really aggressive pattern of what I was doing every single day, and it's been really nice to just kind of have that fluctuate a little bit more, for my own self. Really, it's just a bit different, and the feelings that I get when I'm supporting and a fighter, and we go to the fight and we do all of it, we prepare and we win or even lose, but the feeling that I get from that has blown out the water any feeling that I've ever got from my own success in a boxing ring. My second-hand happiness for someone else is way, way stronger of an emotion to me. When I win, I kind of expected it of myself, and it was kind of numb. I had this thing where even if I was the most excited, I can't act excited, because then that would have thought like, why are you surprised that you won this? So I never even allowed myself to really take the hinge off and be, I won a world title. The only thing I did was and then I calmed it back down, because it was never, but it never was a surprise to me, really. I always expected, to be fair, where my career ended up, I expected way more than that of myself. If anything, I'm a bit disappointed how it did go, because I know if I looked after myself the best way possible, gave myself the best possible chance, and certain versions of me, if they was in the ring every single time, I don't think anyone would ever beat me, to be honest.
Talking about that, I'm sure you've seen interviews of Tunde Ajayi mentioning about you not living the life and smoking and stuff like that.
He takes all his fighters' money, so I don't care what Tunde says. Tunde was using Yarde to get fighters signed by Frank Warren. He got 3 of them opportunities, and they all got beat. The first 3 fighters he signed, every single one. Tunde doesn't know his arse from his elbow. respectfully, when it comes to boxing, he's a hype man that's been around the Peacock Gym too long, that he's got his own thing, and he's got, Yarde in enough of a conversation that when he was thinking about leaving, when he was flying places and having meetings about leaving, the loyalty to Uncle Tunde and whatever dark secrets that he's got on him, then he's not gone nowhere, and he's still paying him the 40-50% whatever he's paying him, which is a madness to me. Anyone that is involved in advising boxers would say that the same, that it is madness. But with me, like, bear in mind, I have no animosity towards, I have no energy towards any of these people, to be honest. But when I'm sat there and people that have managed my whole career and been very close to me, that don't even do all the whole chatty stuff, when Tunde, 40, 50-year-old Tunde, is mentioning people's names of people that he doesn't even met, doesn't know, and later that day was apologising to him on the phone, that's where my, oh yeah, everyone knows about your secret relationship come from. Because don't be dragging my manager, my name into things, talking about, this, that, because I'm kind of irrelevant to this. The reason why they hate me so much is because when Lyndon did beat Yarde, that first fight behind closed doors, we was heckling them. Both Yarde and both Tunde, they got heckled, unfortunately. But they was very dismissive to Lyndon, bear in mind, before that fight. And then he got his head jabbed off and he won clear, in my opinion. And that's where it kind of started. But like I said, I've got no actual energy towards them. I think they're all kind of cool, to be honest. But when you're, pulling my name out your ass to then get some interviews, when I'm not even relevant to the fight. I'm just going to be in the corner holding a spit bucket. I ain't even telling Lyndon what to do. But yeah, it's all fun, innit? But like I said, me, I hold my corner, but if you come from my corner, I'll come back, and usually like it goes once and they don't really come back again. But I'm here for it. I don't really care, because it can go one of anyway for me. Like, I don't really mind. It's boxing, innit? And if they want to take it outside of that, let me take it outside of that. It's fine.
Ooh, all right, last one from me. Let everyone know what they can expect from you lately. I know obviously you do managing and stuff like that. So yeah, let everyone know what you got going on and what to look out for you in the up and coming months.
Yeah, well, Real Fighters Only. We've launched. We've got, I think, 8-9 fighters right now. A few more that we're looking to be working with. In corners, on the comms, on the punditry, in the interviews, at the press conference, the weigh-in. I'm going to be surrounding boxing and fully submerged. There's nothing really else in my life outside of raising my children and having a bit of free time that I worry or do anything else. So if someone's sick of me, they're going to get a whole lot more sick of me, because they're going to hear me more and see me more than they ever did before.
Do you know what? I love you reading off all that. That sounds like what I'm trying to get to. I know you see me doing the media, you see me doing security, you see me doing commentary, you see me doing cornerman stuff. So
good job of 3 people. It's going to take 3 people to replace you. It's simple. If you do a bit of everything and can genuinely do it, then all of a sudden, a part of one team, you can do 3 job roles while you need to. And any time you need to do something else, you can always do it. And I think one thing that I've been afforded the luxury of is 20 plus years definitely, of just full eyes locked on to learning, understanding, studying boxing, seeing real life mistakes happen in front of me, seeing them play out, knowing what someone's saying, telling them they shouldn't have, and then seeing it play out in the future. Like, I've done that now enough times where I've got to a point of a good level of experience. But at the same point, people keep chucking this manager. Like, I'm involved in the management of fighters as part of the team, but just like a legal team would have the solicitor, have the barrister, have the counsel, and have all the different members, and have all the different members of the team, I'm just a member of the team of my fighters, and I don't just do it for the quickest route to some financial gain. So the fighter, their percent is always going to be the same, no matter what the fighter is. It's no more than that, it's no less than that. And then if you've got 2 or 3 of us in your team, it's still that same percent. Just because there's 2 or 3 of us now, I don't mean, he's taking this and he's taking that and he's taking that, just to make you come down. And that's the difference of our fighters. They might have 3 people representing them, but they're taking the same percent as if it was only 1 person. And I would never have any more. There's like a certain amount of each thing that is the max that I'd ever allow a fighter that I work with being taken. And it's about really just trying to use as much of my network and as much of my position and my leverage and my experience to benefit the fighters that I work with as best as possible. That really is my priority, because if you build up the right talent and you enjoy the journey, which is really the main important thing for me, because I wouldn't leave my kids, I wouldn't leave my house, I wouldn't get off my sofa and put the spliff down to go all the way to the other side of wherever the fuck to go and represent someone I don't like. It doesn't matter how much money is there, I will not, like, my time is more precious than any money that you can pay me for. Like, I just couldn't do it, I wouldn't do it. So every storyline that I'm involved in, it usually starts from like the basis of a genuine good level of friendship, if not a line of respect and belief, and then building into the friendship then, because if I don't like someone, I won't be able to do a very good job representing them, and I wouldn't, nor would I be willing to know in my head that I don't really like someone and still have conversations that it could shape their whole future, you know what I mean?
I hear that, and thank you for that. Obviously, security, they're roughing me up, you know what I mean? They're moving to us, so I've got to wrap it up. But listen, I've got to get you on the neutral corner at some point this year, so we'll stay in contact, you know what I mean? We go back, way back. But yeah, man, I love it. So thank you very much. There you have it, guys. Is another interview from Danny Glover. It's proudly sponsored by Fight Fan TV Live, and we're here with Showtime, Sonny Edwards. And remember, guys, persistence beats resistance. You know where it is.